And we are back. The Legal Aid Society is breaking new ground using video narratives to humanize their clients, shedding light on their character, their aspirations, as well as their struggles. Joining me now is the senior staff attorney at the Legal Aid Society, Nicole Mull, and then also filmmaker and producer of Courthouse Documentaries, David Simpson. And Nicole, David, thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning.
Thanks,
Good
Daren.
morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll start with Nicole because I think that this is really new in some ways to be able to have video as, evidence, if you will, of a person's life and the difference that it makes. Give me a little bit of behind this here.
Well, for the past couple of decades, the only way we used to advocate for our clients with respect to their lives and to show them as full human beings was in writing. And social workers and lawyers worked very hard on pre-pleading investigation reports and sentencing reports. But now there's this new method of showing as opposed to telling. The written work is very important, but in certain cases, video works just as well, if not better. And so I started to see in federal court videos being used for these kinds of this kind of advocacy to show the judge, to show the DA what brought our clients into the situations that they face and who they are. And I began to think, why can't we do this in state court? Why can't we bring this to a public defender's office? And that's what we did. David and I started about 5 years ago, and we've come a long way. We've partnered with Fordham Law School, the criminal defense clinic there. We've partnered with other folks like Bard and Drexel University to create these videos for our clients.
Yeah, David, talk to me a little bit about these videos. As you are a filmmaker and the producer, what are you looking to capture to bring back to that courthouse?
So we focus on the clients themselves, their families, members of the community. So oftentimes it's their former bosses or pastors or other community members that can speak on behalf of their character. We also, we're in the neighborhoods, we're in their homes, and we want to capture the environment that many of our clients grew up in and lived and worked and conduct their business. And we want to capture what it's like for them to move and be in the community.
Yeah. Nicole, how do you answer a critic who may say, look, this is a way to do something very scripted, and, we know what people can say with regards to that. How do you answer that when you say, hey, this presentation really could mean something here?
Well, anything that is written is scripted, right? So when we turn over the reams of paper that include medical records, that include school certificates, that include drug treatment program records, all of that is scripted. So it's not a matter of whether it's scripted or not. It's a matter of whether you gain from watching our clients, from listening to their families, from seeing with your own eyes how people speak and how they relate, and how they tell you about folks. You make that decision. You make that decision as the viewer as to whether you believe them or not. And that's why we are very, very insistent that this works very well, because people want to see, people want to hear from, and our clients want to tell their story, and not necessarily at trial. This may be part of a negotiation.
Right. And David, I want to say too, it also lets somebody have an opportunity to make it into a courtroom via video that may not necessarily make it to the courtroom on the day of either sentencing or the day that they're required to actually give their statement.
Absolutely. We have both traveled to locations out of state, as well as had folks Zoom in from other parts of the country, other other countries. And this gives an opportunity to give a nuanced description, nuanced history of a client directly from an individual that has interacted with them as a family member, as a friend, and can really give that detailed, critical history about that person.
Yeah. Nicole, what are we seeing by way of results here? Because when we talk about sentencing outcomes, how has this project actually been able to impact sentencing outcomes?
I think it has impacted sentencing outcomes for the better. Now, keep in mind, most of these are part of a negotiation. So we have an idea of what a case or a client is facing, and what the negotiated outcome that we believe is fair. And that's what we are asking for. And in a lot of cases, we have had very good success because our audience realizes where our clients came from, who they are, and it's not just something written on a piece of paper that they may not believe.
Right. For our viewers, please educate us just a little bit more when you say negotiation. How does that process work? And then talk about how the video correlates.
Well, oftentimes a client is charged with a crime that they didn't commit. Sometimes the client is willing to negotiate because there's kind of a middle of the road where perhaps there's a way to resolve a case in a way that suits both sides. When there's a way to resolve a case that suits both sides, then that's a successful negotiated outcome. And the videos play a role in that we want to show the district attorney, show the judge who the client is and why they deserve this outcome.
David, so for you, obviously the opportunity to see firsthand from behind the lens and to help somebody in the possibility of having a reduced sentence outcome. What's this experience been like for you? Because I know in addition to the work that you're doing, there's also this partnership that you're now forming with law students across the state.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's been really dramatically life-changing for me to be able to witness firsthand lives of folks who are directly impacted by mass incarceration. Like, I knew very little about the criminal legal system prior to this, and the empathy that is required, and the witnessing the impact of loss in our communities, predominantly Black and Brown folks, it has really motivated me to build a coalition of individuals who would want to apply their skills to doing this work, and that's the thing that has now motivated me. In the last 6 years, we've completed about 35 videos, and we've interviewed over 250 individuals, and it's incredible to see the change in the lives and the gratitude that families have for the work that we do, and to be able to take that the process that we've developed and bring that to students who are entering the legal field so that they can take these techniques and processes and apply it to their work is super valuable and very, very rewarding.
Yeah. So Nicole, where does the work go from here?
Well, the only reason we have only done 30 is because we have very, very little funding. So that's our next step, or our continued step, is to increase funding for this amazing project.
Yeah. And what kind of response have you gotten since you've been, putting this out here as both, a project that is really seeing a whole lot of people's lives transformed, and at the same time also becoming an educational tool?
I'm sorry, you cut out. Can you repeat that question?
Absolutely. I said, so what's it been like for you? Because obviously there's the process of this being an educational tool and then also having the successes and, successful outcomes. What's it been like in the conversation space that you've been having with people about funding?
Well, it's everybody's very supportive, but of course, as you know, funding is um, hard to get because there's a lot of very worthwhile projects out there, and um, and we encourage anybody who wants to volunteer or who wants to contribute financially to reach out.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want people to know a little bit more about this, and I'm gonna give them more information a little bit later on. I want to ask David, for yourself as a filmmaker and a producer, how long does it take you to get this video out on one particular client?
So we generally work on these videos within the semester. So our partnership with Fordham is their criminal defense clinic, and so we create the videos throughout the semester, and by the semester end, sometimes it takes a few weeks longer. We're done. So around 4 months, 4.5 months.
That's awesome.
And
And again, that could take a lot less time if we had funding.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, and with less time, I mean, obviously more people have the opportunity to be represented, and that's a great thing. For yourself, Nicole, I just want to ask you, what has this project meant for you, seeing that you are, an attorney working here and seeing lives being transformed through this?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I've been doing this for a very long time, and it's brought me a lot of satisfaction to see how many lives we can change and hope for the future.
Yeah. I was reading a statistic about how the United States has more than 2 million people incarcerated. And of course, we know with mass incarceration, most of those people behind bars are black and brown. When we talk about this also does something in terms of putting a little bit of a crack, would you admit, in this mass incarceration problem we're having.
It does, but it's a huge problem.
Yeah, a huge one. All right, Nicole, David, we got to leave it there, but very, very insightful information. Congratulations on what you've been able to do, and certainly I think people will be taking a look and seeing how they can support and possibly be able to change their life. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All righty.
thank you.
All right, well, we want to let you know if you want more information, visit the websites at courthouse.documentaries.com and legalaidnyc.org. Don't go anywhere. More Open is coming up right after this.